If you get a medical interview offer for one of the medical schools in Australia, then stop scrolling. This video will help you heaps. I'm Kiana. I just finished my first year of medical school at Monash University, and here's everything you need to know about the interviews. So for most universities, you're going to be having different stations. If you're a domestic student, you're going to be having 6 stations. If you're international, you're going to be having 4. Lucky you. So these are the 3 main things that I think that the interviewers will be testing you on. The first one is your structure, which is super important and we will be talking about very soon. Secondly, the content of your answer. And last, kind of probably the flow of your answer and how eloquent you are, the vocabulary that you use, things like that, as well as body language. Let's talk about structure. So what I definitely recommend is using a simple structure. For example, one that we've probably all learned from primary school: intro, 3 main points, and a conclusion. You don't need paragraphs. You don't want your answers to be super long. Just a simple sentence for just opening your answer, and then your 3 main points, and then quickly sum it off with a concluding sentence. This not only helps the interviewer kind of follow along with you and help understand you more, but it's also going to make your life easier because then you're not all over the place. Use the time that you get to answer the questions really efficiently, because you're going to be trying to hit as many points as you can during that time, but also have enough time to explain it out a little bit. That's why I think if you talk about 3 main points in your answer, that's the perfect amount of points and perfect amount of time to kind of dwell on each point as well. Now, it might sound a bit silly, but your vocabulary, your eloquency, and your body language, it all really adds up as well and helps you do well. If you think about it, doctors are typically very well spoken, they're very knowledgeable, they don't use a lot of filler words like basically. This makes you kind of not look great and not very professional. So in your interview as well, try to avoid using filler words at all costs. It's hard, I know, especially when you're kind of under stress, but make an active effort to not use filler words. Body language is super important as well, and this kind of links to kind of another point which I think, or another category which they probably will be testing people on, and it's on empathy or emotions. We all know they don't want doctors that are like robots. They want you to kind of show your personality. This is the whole idea of the interviews. They want to see you and your personality and if you'll be fit to be a doctor. And think about it, the interviews aren't a phone call, it's a video call. Why? Because they want to see your facial expressions, they want to see your hand movements, and they want to see that you're kind of sincere and genuine about what you're talking about. So see what I'm doing right now? I'm using my hands. It not only engages the person that you're talking to, so your interviewer, but also using your facial expressions, you can kind of show your empathy towards the person, for example, in the scenario. Another thing I want to talk about is how you can prepare for the interview. So each station might focus on one of these topics, and what I definitely recommend is also doing some research on Indigenous health, telehealth, rural health, things like that. For these things, it's also important to do some research on things that are aiming to help these issues in the medical field, for example, Closing the Gap campaign. So I recommend searching online for some practice questions or writing some yourself, and then writing a perfect answer to each and then memorizing it kind of, just so if they do come up, you're kind of prepared for it. I think this video is already long enough, so if you have any kind of things you want me to talk about more, if you have any questions, either message me or comment and I shall answer. Best of luck.